You're looking at the best there
Austin
is.
316.
What do you guys want to talk about? I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
You will rest in peace.
Welcome back, everybody, for episode 3 of The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling podcast with Joe
And
Mike. Yeah,
Yeah. This is a special edition.
it's a big one.
WrestleMania kickoff show.
So hard, dude.
The Source. Let's go.
This week, we're going to be covering AEW Dynamite, the massive WrestleMania 40 kickoff press conference from the other night where a lot of shit went down.
Yeah.
And we will finish the show with the big episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Stay tuned, y'all. We're going to start here with AEW Dynamite on 2/7 from Phoenix, Arizona.
And oh, did we start it off.
Yes, we did.
On this episode of
We
Dynamite.
really did. The opening match of this Dynamite was a main event status match. And it showed why Swerve Strickland is not to be fucked with right now. It's
Nope.
Swerve's house. Whose house?
Swerve's house.
Okay, so the first match, you get Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Title #1 contendership. All
And
right.
this match was 30 minutes.
30 minutes. 30 minutes long. You know, we had a time limit
Just
here,
a
folks.
war. Just an all-out
Yeah, a 30-minute
beating.
war. You know, basically, it's like Swerve is super over right now, but he's yet to win a singles title. So, you know, we still got to put respect on his name, but he needs some gold. Match starts out fast, mat wrestling elements. Hangman hits a fallaway slam on the outside to the floor. That one looked like a pretty tough bump. Swerve then hits the house call. Page is up at 2. Like, when I tell you guys, this match was crazy. It was pretty crazy. Swerve actually uses Page's own buckshot to try to take him out. Kicks out. We get a Swerve stomp. Another kick out at 2. Hangman pulls out a DDT onto the barricade. That was a pretty cool one. I've never
Yep.
seen one of those before.
That was dope.
Hangman then lays on a table outside the ring, right? It collapses on its own.
Yeah, that was a
AEW
little bit of a
is
botch.
back, folks.
Yeah, a little bit of a botch there, I feel, but they
Yes.
you could tell that like after that
They
happened,
made up for it, though.
Swerve was like seeking out a table.
Yep, he went and got a table right
He
away.
looked in one side of the ring, it wasn't there. He shook his head. He went to the next side of the ring. It was
Yep.
there. He started to pull it out. Crowd goes
Yep.
wild.
Pop like hell, man. Popping big time. Swerve then hits Page with his own move again with a Deadeye through a table off the apron. That was a nasty bump. Looked like a broken neck for Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
Pretty disgusting. You know, and then the match just really starts getting really intense and the clock expires. I would say Swerve had the upper hand at that
Not only
time.
did the clock expire, but Swerve had administered a pin in the last
Had the
seconds,
upper hand,
and
yes.
as the hand went down for it was the 1, the 2, and as the
2
hand
and
went
a
down
half
for
or
the 3,
so, yeah.
maybe in like 2.5,
Right.
The bell rang. But like as the bell rang, the refs came down for the 3rd without the shoulder coming up.
Right,
if
so
that
technically-
match did not, expire at that moment, it would have been a different story.
Yeah,
It would've
right. Would have been a
Hangman
way
win.
different
not a
outcome.
Hangman win. It would have been a Swerve win.
A Swerve win. And Swerve wins anyway because he is now inserted into the title match at Revolution. It's a 3-way match now.
After the match, Swerve says, "Come on, man! I deserve 5 more minutes. I deserve 5 more minutes."
I wanted it too. I wanted
and
that
Adam,
5 minutes.
Page is saying no. He's saying
It's like, no, yeah, not
it's
going
a
to happen.
tie. That means I win somehow. And
Yeah,
then,
and I don't understand that because Swerve has beaten him multiple times, including that Texas Death Match, which was, out of this world.
Yeah, he claims that Swerve had to win in order to get the opportunity, and that
Right.
wasn't the case for him.
Right.
But then out comes
Tony Schiavone, and he's getting word from Tony Khan now that it's going to be a 3-way match for the AEW World Championship versus Samoa Joe at the AEW Revolution pay-per-view that's coming up this March.
And it was pretty cool how Tony Schiavone
Yeah.
got the word through his, headset,
Right
and
through
then
the
had
headset.
a mic in his hand and made the announcement live that no,
It's a 3-way
hang on,
match.
Adam Page, you need to stop walking down that exit because I have an
You're
announcement.
going to want to
over
hear
here."
this. Yeah, and unfortunately, it works out for him and Swerve Strickland, most thankfully. Next up, we got Timeless Tony Storm versus Red Velvet. Normal match, no stipulations, anything like that.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but when Toni Storm came out, it was her quickest entrance I've ever seen. That's because the match before with Swerve Strickland and Adam Page went for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
So you could tell that they were like, get out there.
She couldn't take her time. Yep, you got to hurry this up.
She usually has the magnificent entrance with, at the top
if
of the...
you notice, they
ran right out.
They didn't go black as white as much, too.
No, she just ran right out.
Black and white, rather.
It was pretty cool. I don't know. It was different.
So Storm comes out looking strong. She wins with the ankle lock.
Of course.
Which brings us along to the third match of the night, a trios match. It's the BCC, Moxley, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and Claudio Castagnoli. Yeah. Versus the CMLL. BCC come out, look strong, per usual. The CMLL, I gotta say, I haven't been really exposed to those guys until recently on AEW.
Kind of just got sprung up on us, I feel, a little bit.
Right, and I had kind of no idea. I had to get schooled a little bit, and I started
seeing them in the crowd, sitting there, with masks on.
And there were still a few doing that as well. But I gotta say, after watching them, they are legit Lucha Libre wrestlers for sure.
The thing is I thought it was funny that they came out and then one of them just took their mask off.
Yeah, right.
Why thought it was. Out? I don't get it.
I thought it was a thing, especially in the Mexican wrestling culture, that if you unmask, that's like your pride. It's you know what I mean. And I still hate that WCW did that to Rey Mysterio when I was a kid.
I feel like they all do it though.
I know.
Eventually you see who everybody is, and like I feel like it is inevitably happening. So I don't know if it's just like past a certain period you can do that. I don't know.
I just always thought it was very confidential. So to wrap it up on this one, Claudio, who's a technical wrestler, hits a low blow to win the match on one of the CMLL guys.
Sounds about right.
After the commercial, we got the Undisputed Kingdom and Adam Cole, baby, attacking Chuck Taylor backstage on Dynamite, which then moves us to the Tony Khan announcement. What's the big announcement?
Let me just tell you that there's a thin line between having a lot of money and being smart.
For sure.
And Tony Khan falls on the latter side.
I would say so. He's got this massive announcement, groundbreaking. It's gonna be the biggest thing in professional wrestling. Then he just announces a show called Big Business in Boston.
That's it. But then he does add that this event is gonna change wrestling forever.
Right, and which I know what he's getting at. He's bringing Mercedes Moné, or I don't know if she's going to use that name, or I don't think she's allowed to use Sasha Banks. He's bringing her in. On the graphic, it said Boston.
Yeah, but how is that one person going to change wrestling? I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. Don't get me wrong.
There's got to be more to it. There has to be at this point. At this point, there has to be more to it. I do believe that he's going to have to be a man of his word if he says it. So there should be some kind of big surprise.
Yeah, I can't see that being the only thing.
That can't be all. But it's probably something else accompanied with her. Maybe MJF comes back and her.
Dude, if you see that, then it really is big business, isn't it?
That shapes the business because without MJF, they're in a weird state. So that does change wrestling if he comes back to AEW, right?
Absolutely. So now we don't have to wait too long. I think I saw something today like they already sold like 40,000 tickets for this event. So expect it to be a banger. Moving on, fourth match of the night, we have Lionheart Chris Jericho versus Konosuke Takeshita, which Mike is a big fan of Jericho.
Oh my God, it gets worse every single time I watch him wrestle.
It's tough to watch now, but I still love him. Shout out Chris Jericho. Really good match, actually, though. Not gonna lie, just because Jericho is in all different shapes right now, he can still put on a decent match.
All different shapes is
all different shapes. He takes a nasty brain buster by Takeshita on the outside of the ring. Quite a few really brutal spots, but then this douchebag Don Callis comes from the outside and hits Jericho with a screwdriver in his head.
Yep.
Which then Takeshita rolls him around, puts him in the walls of Jericho, his own submission move, and makes Jericho tap out clean to it.
And let me just say, thank God that they finally have somebody like Chris Jericho put someone over.
He did it. I was proud of him.
Takeshita
with his own move. Takeshita he's on the rise.
He looks phenomenal. He
does.
Looks like a future superstar.
Yeah, he really does.
I'm glad that he got the win, whether it was from the screwdriver or not, because these legends in AEW.
That's what they're there for.
Instead
they're there
of
to put
holding
somebody
titles
over
and running the show, they should be the ones that are putting the youth over.
Correct.
That are putting the Orange Cassidy's way over.
I agree.
The Hooks,
all these guys,
all of them.
That's exactly how it should be done. Shout out Chris Jericho for laying down for once. Main event time. It's the tag title tornado match with Sting and Darby Allin versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks.
And right on the heels of me saying how there's too many legends still
Right.
fighting.
We have
in
Sting,
AEW.
but
Here's
he
Sting.
is on his way out.
On his farewell tour, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
Who
I've
knows?
never had a problem with Sting, though, because he's never really, lost it out there. You know what I mean?
side
He's just
note,
got the age.
What happened to Ric Flair? Because he was riding along with him, and I heard he was honestly tripping on mushrooms a lot.
Oh my goodness,
And
I didn't know
think
that.
he was acting out a lot on camera from what I
Right.
saw. So I
Right.
think maybe he was getting to be a little too much with his antics. And,
Right, could have been
kinda
that for sure.
taking the show away from Sting a little
Right.
bit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now the focus feels like it's on Sting.
It's 100% on Sting.
And
Like you said, it's his farewell tour.
Maybe he'll come back around. Ric Flair. I don't know if he was maybe wasn't feeling good. He's old.
Maybe.
for that
Yeah,
week. I
right.
don't
These
know.
guys are up there. We're lucky they're even still around. But this match, immediately out of control. Ref can't control it. Goes right into the crowd first thing. They kind of split up. Sting and Big Bill, I think, were on one end and vice versa. But, they're in the crowd. They're fighting. They're walking up and down the aisles. People are going absolutely crazy. Already the ref has zero control over this match. And then all of a sudden you see Sting up on a balcony. Just chilling at first. He's just chilling up there. People are fighting below him. The group that's fighting below him is getting bigger, and you see Sting just getting ready to do something. So I'm like, dude, this guy's in his 60s. I don't know if a balcony dive's the greatest idea for you right now, Sting. And boom, he dives off the balcony, gets right back up, does the chest pound, the woo. I was honestly shocked just to see that Sting can still be taking that big of a bump in his 60s. When you look at somebody like Ric Flair and, he can barely get down to the ring. Match is getting closer to the ring now after the balcony dive. Darby hits a coffin drop to the outside, puts Big Bill through a table. Sting sees an opportunity, takes it, hits that scorpion death drop that I love to see so much. New tag team champions, Sting and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
Massive celebration, huge. Sting's sons are there. They come out to the ring. They're hugging their dad. He's holding the title up. Black and white confetti. Sting confetti's coming down. And the Young Bucks show up. Derail that train.
Yep.
And they take everybody out. They take out Sting, his kids, Darby. Sting's a bloody mess.
And we weren't sure up to this point if the Young Bucks were totally going corporate and going to be
Right.
taking a corporate role like in
But
the
now
WWE
we know.
where it's Adam Pearce and whatever. This
EVP
shows
stuff,
that they
yeah.
are actually still going to be a working tag team.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to go for the championships.
Couldn't agree more. That's going to conclude the AEW Dynamite portion of this show. Stay tuned because we got a big one coming up. It's the WrestleMania 40 Mega Press Conference. Yeah.
And this thing starts off with the bang.
It's the game. The
game
cerebral
comes out
assassin Triple H.
With a crowd that's bigger than probably Dynamite's
Literally.
entire crowd.
In their entire history of Dynamite, yeah, the crowd is huge. There's not a ring. There's nothing. It's just a stage, but the place is jam-packed, dude.
Triple H comes out, talks about the history of WrestleMania, which is pretty cool.
He's bringing
Pretty
you
cool
back,
segment, yeah.
but he's also telling you ain't seen nothing yet. This is going to be
Exactly.
crazy. You know what I mean? But a lot of people just need to sit back and enjoy the ride. Even myself included. I feel like I need to sit back and enjoy the ride a little more instead of trying to overanalyze everything. It's like, no, I don't know if this is right. But as wrestling fans, that's just what we do. We get Bianca Belair coming out, which was kind of confusing, right, Mike? Like, why is she out here? Type deal. She doesn't have a confirmed Mania match yet or anything like that.
For one, to plug her show, but for two,
Yes.
I mean, the plug in the show doesn't explain it all.
No, it doesn't. It's a Hulu show.
Because
who
there's
cares?
only a certain amount of people who came out for this kickoff show. It wasn't like everybody was
handful,
coming out.
right.
So the fact that she came out and said she's on the road to WrestleMania is nothing more than peculiar to
It is
a
extremely
wrestling
strange, yes. But now we do know that she's going to be in a chamber, sheep qualified.
She's going to be in the chamber, but in my opinion, Becky Lynch wins it. There's no bigger WrestleMania than Rhea Ripley
Becky
versus
and
Becky.
Rhea.
Big time Bex.
So then Rhea Ripley comes out, flexing her guns, basically saying, this is my WrestleMania. I am the most dominant women's champion you've ever seen. Nobody's beating me, and I really don't see anybody beating her.
But then Becky calls out the champion. She promises that she's going to win the title.
She's the
and
man.
Nothing's going to stop her.
Yeah.
Not even Mommy.
Yeah.
That's assuming, obviously that Nia Jax...
That she loses, right.
Yeah, but
because
obviously
there's a big chance,
I don't think there's any chance in hell that Rhea Ripley loses in Perth.
There's a big chance something
home
could
country.
happen, though. But yeah,
I don't
you're
think
right.
there's any chance in literally a frozen over hell that would ever happen. But there was a big stare down between Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
And that got intense, and it got foaming at the mouth-ish, and then all
Right,
of a
make
sudden
you
they were
want it
trying
to
to
happen
exchange
right now
blows.
type deal.
Adam Pearce gets in the middle, and there we are. There's the segment.
This is the moment we all waited for. We didn't know what it was going to be, but now we do. It is the segment with Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, the Bloodline, including The Rock, everybody, all the major heavy hitters. It's happening right now.
And boom, out comes Seth Rollins.
And his daughter's shoes, it looked like.
Yeah. No, I thought it looked so good. He has like a
he
Muppet.
can pull that
he has
off.
like a Muppet vibe to him.
How does he
This
do
very
that?
lovable Muppet vibe to him when he
Right,
comes
dude.
out. It's like, oh, I don't know. I love him.
He's out there, crowds going nuts for him. They're
Yeah.
chanting his song.
But the whole moral of the story when he comes out to really not go on and on about it is he's calling out Cody. You're making a
let's
decision
go.
right now, like literally saying
Now's
it's
the
happening.
time.
Come out, and Roman Reigns music hits.
You get the tribal chief instead because he's the tribal chief. He can just do that stuff and get away with it. He comes out there and he's basically like, Cody's yesterday's news. He's last year's story. I'm picking now. He lost his opportunity. And Roman says, I want The Rock.
Which was pretty cool, honestly, to
It was
see
cool.
Rollins and Roman face to face.
Right.
And just
Called him Big Brother.
it made
you know
you
what I mean?
think of so many possibilities there could be in that match.
And so many moments
what I
that
mean?
they've had together, too. It's
Exactly.
just insane.
That's coming down the road for sure.
So Roman asks for The Rock. He gets The Rock. The Rock comes out. Place is booing him. He's still getting booed. Hollywood Rock might be back sooner than we think.
He was saying a lot of things. I think that we're really testing out the crowd that night.
For sure.
He was like, you want to see Roman win his match at WrestleMania? You want to see me win? And it was all booze the whole way through. The crowd just was not
Yep,
having
he was
it.
trying to bill it as the biggest match in WrestleMania history. People were still booing the crap out of it. Nobody wanted to hear it. We all want one thing, and that one thing is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. The Rock then puts a graphic up on the screen, which I thought was a really interesting graphic. It was the Bloodline family tree, and it had names on it from, the Wild Samoans, Yokozuna, just about everybody, the High Chief Peter Maivia, The Rock's grandfather. And he was showing that there's ranks to this, okay? There's ranks to this bloodline. And it just so happens that Roman Reigns is right below the High Chief, The Rock.
So that kind of shows that they can coexist together and have a bloodline faction with The Rock and Roman Reigns in it. Because it can operate with The Rock as the High Chief and Roman Reigns as the Tribal Chief.
Exactly. And it kind of never... it kind of makes sense now when you look back at it when The Rock came out and had that face-to-face with Roman, why Rock didn't say anything, because he wasn't really coming for him to begin with. Cody Rhodes finally says he's had enough. He comes out, no music, no nothing. This is bullshit. I won the Royal Rumble. I'm making this choice right now. He decides, you know what? He's coming for Roman Reigns. Main event, WrestleMania. Even though he said he wasn't on an episode of Smackdown, which that was kind of a curve. But here we are. It's confirmed. It's happening. Main event, WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, gets his rematch to try to finish the story at WrestleMania 40 against Roman Reigns. But where does The Rock fit into all of this? Cody then goes into a tangent, looking directly at The Rock and Roman. And he decides he's going to say that if their grandfathers were there, they'd be disappointed in him right now. That's where everything turned around big time.
Yeah, The Rock basically is like, hey,
Blood's
if
boiling.
you're talking about Roman's family, you're talking about mine.
And if you're talking about Roman's blood, you're talking about my blood. This is the bloodline. We are family. And The Rock decides to just walk up, says nothing. He's sweating. He's pissed. He slaps the shit out of Cody, man.
Nice, one big, nice, clean slap.
It was a clean slap.
It was pretty clean.
You could see Cody just, kind of bracing a little bit, just waiting for it. You know what I mean? Because it was coming.
And then it was mayhem. Everybody's getting pushed aside. Everybody's
Here comes
Cody
Adam
gets taken
Pearce.
backstage.
Here comes all this. Yep, break up everything. heads backstage, and then you got Triple H kind of, being interviewed about...
Well, before that, I'm just saying, Rollins backing Cody so hard.
Oh, he's backing him hard. He's backing him super hard. Like, you think that this could be a tag team match for maybe, like, night 1 of Mania. You got Rollins and Cody versus Rock and Roman.
I'm thinking Chamber. But regardless, like you said, we're backstage now. There's Triple H, there's The Rock, there's Roman.
And it just kind of turns into, like, a media scrum on steroids, where The Rock's basically saying tons of expletives, and he's like, you know what, H, you're going to fix this shit. If someone's going to talk shit about my family, then you're going to see what happens. He basically then...
You fix it or I fix it.
Right. He says, you fix it or I fix it. And then he goes on with saying that he's going to kick Cody's teeth down his throat, which is a pretty big threat coming from the People's Champion. Good guy, bad guy, whoever it may be. The Rock usually does follow through. And on that note, that's going to be the end of our WrestleMania 40 press conference coverage. It was a big one. We now have some answers. We know that Cody Rhodes is getting his rematch. Is he going to finish the story, Mike?
Abso-fucking-lutely. All right, now we have our Smackdown February 9th, 2024 recap for you.
Another big show, another really big show.
Show opens up. We got Triple H coming out right away, or as they're calling him right now,
Triple H
Paul
is out
Triple
there.
H Levesque.
Adam Pearce. Yes, it's Paul Triple H Levesque. You got Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis. They're all out there pretty much. And they're saying the road to WrestleMania is getting a little bit crazy right now. We understand. They're saying it took a hard left, but they're out there to address and give answers. So the answer that we do get is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE title at WrestleMania.
Happening.
It is happening. It's confirmed. There's a graphic. There's no turning back now. That's where we're headed. Triple H is then flexing his authority, basically like, I'm the one authority around here. Some people need to learn how to know their role. I wonder who he's talking about. Then we get an announcement that Seth Rollins needs a challenger for this World Heavyweight Championship. How are we going to determine that? They announced that there's going to basically be a 12-man tournament, bunch of good wrestlers in it to decide who goes to the Elimination Chamber and, becomes that number 1 contender for Mania.
Very exciting.
Extremely. First match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles in a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. Before the match starts, LA Knight comes out, massive pop. As always, crowd is absolutely on it for him. He's coming out to do commentary, and the match begins. They're trading strikes. Styles hits a running powerbomb, which was pretty devastating, but then you get distractions from LA Knight. AJ Styles at one point was outside the ring, and LA Knight just pours a bottle of water on him. He's like, oh, you thirsty? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the match continues on, and then more LA Knight distractions. He's mainly looking to distract AJ, so maybe this might be a future feud brewing right now in the works. But Drew takes advantage of that. He hits that Claymore, wins the match. He is now qualified for the Elimination Chamber.
As we knew would happen.
It's McIntyre. He's looking to get his revenge. His non-COVID title reign. That's what he wants, but he seems to keep losing all the big matches. Next up tonight, match number 2, Bianca Belair, the EST versus Mi Shin. Another qualifying match, the first for the women. Bianca comes out real quick, tries to hit that KOD right out the gate, ends up getting reversed. Mi Shin slams Bianca's face into the ring post, like bad. And then she's trying to set up for the Styles Clash, the AJ's finishing move there. She likes using that, and it works. Bianca, though, wraps it up, KOD, EST for a reason.
Of course. And you can see things trending in a certain direction for Bianca Belair.
Oh, yeah.
Going to the chamber, saying what she said. We're just wondering, where's it going to go? You know what I mean?
Right. Is she going to actually win that chamber match, or is she going to put somebody else over? We'll see. We'll see pretty soon.
The ultimate plan is unclear. But then we go to a promo with Braun Breaker talking with Triple H. And he's asking Triple H for some wisdom and some advice of which company he should sign with.
Right. Which brand does he want? They're both good contracts. Any advice that the game can give him, he's looking to take that and enter Paul Heyman.
Yeah, which second time Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker have kind of
What's up with that?
Weirdly crossed paths. And I feel like, if Roman Reigns does go down somehow and does, go away for a little bit, I think that would be maybe the venture for Paul Heyman after him.
A new
I could
Paul
see him
Heyman
saying,
guy.
Braun Breaker.
Yep, just like the other name that we won't name right now.
Yep.
But he's there. He's saying, now's not a good time to talk. I know a lot of stuff's been going on, But he said he's going to come back next week, and he's bringing the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And one more thing, he's bringing The Rock. So they're coming together. Heel Rock has begun. Enjoy the ride, folks.
Next up, we got Bayley in the ring.
Oof, this was a good one.
You know, she looks kind of somber. She looks kind of...
Yep, she's reflecting.
Reflecting is a good word for it. You know, she has questions why Damage Control treated her this way, and all of a sudden, here comes Dakota Kai saying, "Bayley, you haven't answered my calls. What's going on?"
Yep, exactly.
Blah,
And
blah, blah.
Bayley's rebuttal is like, "Well, where were you last week? You know, I was out here getting my ass kicked. I had to use a steel pipe or whatever it was."
She says she was in on it. She knew she was in on it. She had to have been in on it. And Dakota Kai was like, "I knew there was something, but when I saw things going into your plan, I thought that maybe things would blow over.
You know, that things would be different, right?
Blah, blah,
you know,
blah.
and it just didn't end up being that way. But Dakota Kai is trying to, you know, drill into Bayley's head that she's on her side. Out come the Kabuki Warriors, where it's like, okay, this is, you know, it's in the thick of it.
Now it's a standoff. But the funny thing is, Dakota Kai jumps out of the stage at that moment.
She does, yes, because she's still injured. That's why she has that torn ACL, I believe it is, and she's close to being cleared, but she isn't. You know, she can't get involved in any physical altercations.
But they basically come out and laugh and
basically
look awkward, and it's weird.
And you know, Dakota Kai gets back in the ring, and you know, she's got the steel chair in her hand, and she's basically saying, "Bayley, I'm with you."
And from there, she goes ahead and swings at each member of Damage Control.
She does, making it clear that she is on Bayley's
side.
But
then she turns around with the chair to Bayley, though. And
right,
it was kind of awkward, standoffish.
It was there was some hesitation going on there.
And then Bayley kind of takes the chair and puts it down and looks at her like, this chair's going away between us. I don't know what's going on. So weird. We don't know if Dakota Kai and Bayley are going to team up or what's going on for sure. But I think that'd be awesome.
It would be. I'm totally here for it, man. Big Dakota Kai fan. Can't wait till she comes back. Third match of the night, tag team #1 contenders match with DIY versus Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
For a chance to go against Judgment Day at the Chamber.
Yes, and who wouldn't want to do that? So Dunne misses the moonsault off the apron. DIY tries the meet in the middle. Dunne actually breaks it up by snapping Ciampa's fingers back. Bitter end for the win. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. We then get a Judgment Day promo backstage where Dominic's saying Finn Balor, Damian Priest, they're beating any team for these titles. It doesn't matter who. He also says he's winning the Chamber no matter what. Then KO comes in, says, "Hey, I'm your opponent for the qualifier." You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, we're kind of in trouble now. R-Truth comes in for a quick little thing, a Nick joke that turned into being like, watch out for Nick Aldis. You know, Logan Paul doing a quick thing. Speaking of Aldis, Logan Paul goes into Nick Aldis's office.
Oh yeah,
and he's complaining.
And he's really
heated.
Falling into character.
He really is.
He's like, I want to be on my private jet, off my private jet.
Kind of got some Ric Flair going.
Go right back on my private jet, and I'm out of here. He's like, really got a thing going. Hey, who knows? Maybe he won't drop the title to LA Knight.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe he keeps this run going. But he's complained to Nick Aldis about having to qualify, saying he's already qualified. He's been a part of the biggest gate, most views, you name it, he's done it. And, you know, it kind of turns around where he's like, you know what, Nick Aldis, thank you for this opportunity, because now I'm going to be a double champion. I'm taking everything. I'm taking all the gold. Now's the moment we've all been waiting for. Like always, it's the main event. We got Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton in the final qualifier match for SmackDown.
Big match.
Big one, big one. They're fighting outside. Zayn rips a moonsault off the barricade. Orton suplexed onto the commentary table. It did not break, though, so he suplexes him on it. Orton hits that signature DDT, but then he misses 2 RKOs. You're like, what's going on?
Yeah, off his game.
Sammy comes back. He's looking like he's got something up his sleeve. He hits that Blue Thunder Bomb. 1-2-0. Randy kicks out. And Randy looks like he's in a lot of pain after those 2 RKO attempts.
But it was
is he selling that, or is that actually real?
Awesome how out of nowhere,
you then get a 3rd RKO.
Yeah, right on the money.
It hits. You could count to 10. And, Randy obviously moves on. He wins the match. He's going to the Chamber. Drew comes out, has a stare down with Randy Orton.
Yep, they're both in the Chamber.
Both there. You know, we still have more to go to figure out who else is going. But this is going to be the end of the Smackdown portion of the Source WWE Wrestling Podcast with Joe and Mike. Yeah. And now I'm going to end the show the way I like to every week. We're going to give you some on this day in wrestling history. Today is February 10th, 2024. So on this day in 1993, in Dortmund, Germany, Bret the Hitman Hart defeated Ric Flair by submission to retain the WWF Championship. This would be Flair's last match with the company until Royal Rumble 2002. On this day in 2003, Kurt Mr. Perfect Hennig passed away at the age of 44 in Brandon, Florida. He was still the FOW heavyweight champion when he passed away, and Hennig is considered the last champion before FOW folded later that year. That's going to be the end of this show, guys. We appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Source, WWE, AEW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. Let us talk to you.